Chlöe Bailey is showing fans a completely different side of her life, and honestly, the vibe could not be more peaceful. The singer, songwriter, and performer recently gave her followers a look at a lush tropical getaway surrounded by towering trees, rushing waterfalls, winding trails, and some seriously beautiful scenery. And her captions said it all. I'm chasing waterfalls, BTCH, not sticking to the rivers and the lakes I'm used to, followed by map, water, and wave emojis. And just like that, Chlöe made it clear she was not trying to stay in her usual routine. She was getting outside, getting into nature, and letting herself enjoy the moment. Now, anybody who has followed Chlöe for a while knows that she has never been afraid to show different sides of herself. One minute, she can be serving full superstar energy, dressed to the nines, commanding a stage, giving fans that larger-than-life performance. And the next minute, she can disappear into nature, throw on something comfortable, explore a trail, and simply enjoy the beauty around her. This latest photo dump feels like one of those moments. No big red carpet, no flashing cameras, no crowded nightclub, no giant stage, just Chlöe, surrounded by green mountains, tropical plants, flowing water, and waterfalls. And honestly, sometimes that is exactly what you need. There's something about getting away from the noise that hits differently, especially when your life is constantly happening in public. When millions of people are watching what you wear, what you post, what song you release, where you go, and who you're spending time with, finding a quiet place can become its own kind of luxury. And Chlöe appears to be leaning into that feeling. Her photos show her exploring what looks like a lush, tropical environment with dense greenery stretching in every direction. In one image, she's sitting quietly inside a wooden shelter, looking out toward the forest. The scene is almost cinematic. The wooden structure frames the view, while the greenery outside creates this peaceful, almost hidden-away atmosphere. It looks like the kind of place where you could sit for an hour, put your phone down, and just listen to the sounds around you. And that is what makes this photo dump feel different from a typical celebrity vacation post. It doesn't feel like she's simply showing off where she is. It feels like she's showing people how she feels while she's there. Relaxed, curious, playful, present. And then the waterfall photos take the whole thing to another level. Chlöe is seen standing in the water near a powerful waterfall surrounded by thick tropical vegetation. The water is rushing down the rocks behind her, while the entire area looks like something straight out of a travel documentary. There is something almost magical about the setting, and Chlöe seems completely comfortable in it. She's not standing there trying to make the moment overly complicated, she's simply enjoying it. And another photo, she's sitting in the shallow water surrounded by the forest, looking calm and completely in her element. That kind of picture says a lot without needing a long caption. Sometimes you don't need to explain why you needed to get away. You just need to go. And maybe that's the bigger story here, because celebrities are human too. They get tired, they get overwhelmed, they have stressful weeks, they deal with expectations, and sometimes they need to step away from the spotlight just like everybody else. For someone whose career is built around performing and being seen, nature can offer the exact opposite experience. There's no stage, there's no audience, there's no pressure to hit a note, there's no choreography, there's no deadline. There's just the sound of water moving through the forest. And Chlöe's caption, with that playful chasing waterfalls line, makes it clear that she was fully embracing the adventure. She wasn't sticking to the familiar, she was looking for something new. And that's a pretty relatable feeling. How many times have you wanted to just pack a bag and disappear somewhere beautiful for a few days? No emails, no notifications, no traffic, no endless scrolling, just fresh air and a little peace. That's exactly the energy these photos gave. And then there's the fashion, because of course, even while exploring nature, Chlöe still managed to bring her own style into the experience. Across the photos, she's seen in relaxed, earthy looks that fit perfectly with the surroundings. There's a soft, natural color palette, casual pieces, a bucket hat, comfortable outfits, and that laid-back vacation energy. It's very different from the glamorous looks fans often see when she's performing or attending major events. And that contrast is actually one of the most interesting parts. There's the Chlöe people see on stage, confident, powerful, polished. Then there's this Chlöe, barefoot, smiling, exploring, getting close to waterfalls, walking through forest trails, sitting quietly and taking in the view. Both versions are real, and not something worth remembering about celebrities. We often see only the finished product, the perfect photos.
The perfect lighting, The perfect outfit, the performance, the music video, the red carpet. But behind all of that is somebody who still wants the same basic things everyone else wants. A little peace, a little fun, a chance to breathe, a chance to experience something beautiful without having to turn it into a performance. And there is something especially beautiful about seeing a young artist embrace that kind of freedom, because Chlöe has spent so much of her life working, recording music, performing, writing, creating, traveling, being photographed, being interviewed, building her career, living under a microscope that comes with being a recognizable celebrity. So when she gets a chance to slow down, it is almost like watching somebody recharge. And maybe that is why these photos feel so refreshing. There is no obvious attempt to make the trip look perfect. There are candid moments, there are nature shots, there are peaceful poses, there are playful moments, there are waterfalls, there are trails. There's even a giant red heart sculpture in one of the photos, adding a completely different pop of energy to the peaceful surroundings. It feels like a real vacation photo dump, not a carefully constructed campaign. And fans know the difference. Sometimes the most engaging celebrity posts are not the ones with the most glamorous backdrop. They're the ones that feel genuine, the ones that make you think, okay, I actually want to be there. And looking at these pictures, that's definitely the feeling. You can almost hear the water. You can almost feel the humidity. You can almost smell the trees after the rain. You can imagine walking down those narrow trails, surrounded by greenery with a waterfall waiting somewhere around the next corner. And Chlöe clearly didn't just sit at the resort. She explored. She walked through the forest. She got into the water. She visited waterfalls. She took photos. She posed. She laughed. She let herself have an actual adventure. And that's where the Chasing Waterfalls caption really comes alive. Because this was not just about finding a pretty background for Instagram. It was about getting out there, getting off the beaten path, going somewhere different. And sometimes that's exactly what your mind needs. There's a reason people love travel so much. A change of scenery can change your entire mood. You wake up somewhere unfamiliar. You see things you've never seen before. You eat different food. You hear different sounds. You walk somewhere you've never walked before, and for a few days your normal routine disappears. For Chlöe, this getaway seems to have offered exactly that. A break from the usual, a chance to explore, and maybe, most importantly, a chance to simply be. The waterfall itself is also a pretty perfect symbol for that. Water keeps moving. It doesn't stay in one place. It doesn't ask permission to change direction. It flows around rocks, it drops, it rises, it keeps going. And honestly, there's something poetic about that when you think about Chlöe's own journey. Her career has gone through different chapters. She's grown as an artist. She's experimented. She's stepped outside of familiar territory. She's taken risks. She's continued evolving. And maybe this trip reflects some of that same energy. Keep moving, keep exploring, keep growing. Don't stay where you've always been just because it's comfortable. That message is hiding underneath the playful caption. She's literally saying she's not sticking to the rivers and lakes she's used to. She's chasing the waterfall. And sometimes that's exactly what life is about. You have to be willing to chase something different, a different dream, a different experience, a different version of yourself. And sure, it may not always work out perfectly, but you'll never know what's waiting around the corner if you never leave the familiar path. That's one reason these vacation photos can resonate beyond celebrity gossip, because they're not really just about Chlöe. They're about that feeling everybody gets when they realize they need a reset. Maybe you've been working too much. Maybe you've been dealing with stress. Maybe you've been stuck in the same routine. Maybe you've been putting off that trip you keep talking about. Maybe you just need a weekend somewhere with trees, water, and absolutely nothing on your schedule. Whatever the reason, sometimes you have to give yourself permission to step away. And Chlöe's photos are basically saying, I did exactly that. And let's be honest, the caption itself is classic Chlöe energy. I'm chasing waterfalls, beach. It's funny, it's confident, it's a little wild, and it immediately tells you that she was having a good time.
She wasn't trying to make the experience sound overly serious, she was just enjoying herself. And that balance is part of what makes the post fun. The scenery is peaceful, but the caption has personality. The photos are beautiful, but they don't feel overly polished. The whole thing feels like somebody saying, yeah, I found a waterfall and I was absolutely going to get in. And honestly, good for her, because sometimes you just have to live a little. There's also something special about the way nature changes the mood of a photo. When Chlöe is surrounded by dense greenery, the focus isn't just on her. The environment becomes part of the story. The trees, the water, the mountains, the rocks, the wooden paths, the waterfall, everything works together. And instead of the environment competing with her, it almost makes her presence feel more natural. It's a completely different visual language from the bright lights and high-energy world of entertainment. Here, the background is alive, and she is simply part of it. That's probably why the images feel so peaceful. They remind you that there's a whole world outside the celebrity bubble. A world where nobody cares about streaming numbers, nobody cares about chart positions, nobody cares about red carpets. The waterfall doesn't care, the forest doesn't care, the river just keeps moving. And maybe that's exactly what makes a place like this so refreshing. For Chlöe, moments like these can also become memories that exist outside of her career. Years from now, people may remember an album, a performance, a song, or a viral moment. But for her personally, she may remember the feeling of standing beside that waterfall, the sound of the water, the walk through the forest, the feeling of being surrounded by green, the laughter, the quiet, the adventure. Those are the moments that stay with you, and sometimes those are more valuable than anything that happens under a spotlight. Because fame gives you access to incredible things, but peace is still something you have to find for yourself. And Chlöe seems to have found a little bit of it here. So while everybody online may be looking at these pictures and talking about the waterfall, the outfits, the scenery, and the vacation vibes, there's a bigger message hiding underneath all of it. Chlöe Bailey is enjoying the freedom to explore. She's stepping away from the familiar. She's getting into nature. She's having fun. And she's reminding everybody that sometimes you really do have to stop doing what you're used to and chase something completely different. Maybe that's a waterfall. Maybe it's a new city. Maybe it's a new career move. Maybe it's simply taking a day off and giving yourself room to breathe. Whatever your version is, the message is simple. Don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to change the scenery. Don't be afraid to chase the waterfall. Because sometimes the thing you've been looking for is waiting somewhere completely outside your comfort zone. And judging from these photos, Chlöe is having one beautiful time finding it.